Choose to go to the moon. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
How far away is the moon?
240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston.
How tall is the rocket?
A giant rocket, more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field.
How fast will they be going?
Celestial body, and then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that on the temperature of the sun.
Who are the astronauts?
These three men are about to embark on certainly one of history's most glorious adventures. Commander Neil Armstrong, Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin, and Command Module Pilot Mike Collins. Armstrong and Collins have already entered their command module, and Buzz Aldrin will be entering to join them in a few moments to begin this epic journey, and we shall all see it.
What was the most personally rewarding part of the mission?
I think perhaps the final descent to the lunar surface was, for me, the highlight of the flight. It was very challenging. There were a lot of unknowns, and it was, for a pilot, it was a wonderful experience.
There's so many things that can go wrong on a trip to the moon and back. It's sort of a long and fragile daisy chain of events, and I can remember being in the mobile quarantine facility, the little house trailer aboard the aircraft carrier after we landed in the Pacific, and thinking, gee, none of them did. None of those little links broke, and to me that was the amazing part, that everything worked in some as well as it did.
I think the most rewarding part of Apollo 11 was having it to be the major event in my life, which changed my life entirely and gave me an opportunity to reorder priorities and chart a course off for the future based on a new life of being a representative of the human race, having done a very significant thing. And it's enabled me to deal with that in a way where I feel very confident about the future and my participation in helping to shape the future of the space program.
What advice would you give to possible future astronauts selected to be the first on Mars?
Well, I think a Martian astronaut would probably be better off studying the voyages of Vasco da Gama or Lewis and Clark rather than he would listening to three people who'd spent only 8 days out on the road. Round trip for a Mars mission is going to be in the vicinity of 2.5 years, and that's close in duration to those of the early explorers.
I think Mike's right. A trip to Mars is going to be a very long and involved and a major segment of a person's life, and there's going to be a lot of times to be thinking about it, discussing it en route beforehand and afterward. I don't know as our advice would be that pertinent to anyone at that time.
What was it like to work inside the Command and Service Module during the 8-day mission?
People who come here to this museum and look at our spacecraft Columbia are most often struck by its small size, which from their perspective is understandable. From our point of view, the Command Module was a wonderful improvement over our previous spacecraft, which were really cramped. And so we enjoyed the luxury of a big volume machine.
Yeah, I thought we had a...
As a kid, the dream of space as a career was not the driving force behind my hopes for the future.
Those footprints belong to each and every one of you. Mankind. Buzz Aldrin.
Neil Armstrong was selected by NASA in 1963. It's a brilliant surface in that sunlight. The horizon seems quite close to you because the curvature is so much more pronounced than here on Earth. It's an interesting place to be. I recommend it. Neil Armstrong describing the sun. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Neil Armstrong. These were just a couple of quotes from the men that were on this one mission.
This video is called Earthrise.
The astronauts filmed this video and were on the moon when doing so.
It shows the Earth zoomed in and then zoomed out. Our thesis statement is, Apollo 11 was a very groundbreaking exploration by researching moon rocks, finding ways to the moon, and exploring the moon. In this picture, it shows a size comparison of the shuttle used in 1969 being compared to the newer space shuttle used in 1982. And on the left, there is the Statue of Liberty.
This is a picture of the rocket's past, present, and future. You can see the Apollo 11 rocket. It shows the rockets from 1961 all the way to 2018. The two most common rockets that you probably recognize are the Saturn V and the STS. This is a video of the launch live, and it shows the rocket going up in space, and it shows how much power the rockets have.
Our topic relates to the theme, exploration, encounter, and exchange.
Exploration because the United States explored a place where no human has been yet, the moon.
It relates to encounter because we encountered new information about the moon and space.
It also relates to exchange because we exchanged new information and a live stream through TV.
I think this affected the world because before the Apollo 11 program and the Apollo 11 launch, most people did not know or care about this program. And after, many people cared and wanted to help and were very interested, and lots of kids were very interested too.
And I think this affected the world because it gave us a leap in technology and how it gave us a head start to the world of success.